We make things. We use our hands, minds, and machines to build, to fix, to improve. We're known as do-it-yourselfers, home improvement fans, fix-it fanatics, inventors. At our core, though, we're all makers. So let's jump in and make something.
Hi, I'm Ron Hazelton. Welcome to the show. You know, the great thing about cell phones is that they're portable. They'll work anywhere, right? Anywhere that is, but right here at home. I seem to live in a no-cell zone. But I was convinced there was a solution, and I found one, a home cell phone antenna. You know the expression, the devil's in the details? Well, it's also true that the beauty is in the details. And nothing adds beautiful detail to a room like architectural molding. Coming up is a tried and true way to install it.
Well, I'm up here on the roof doing some repairs, and I wanted to introduce you to a new tool that I just came across. It's called a roof caddy. It was developed by a roofer for roofers, but it's really handy for do-it-yourselfers like us too. It's got wheels on the bottom, so if you lift this end up, you can roll it up and down the roof. But there's a piece of foam rubber under there, so when you lay it down flat, it sticks, won't go anywhere. You can put roofing shingles on it, tools, and small parts in here. So if you're going to go up on the roof, be careful, but consider this to keep things from sliding off. Go figure, I've got good cell service everywhere except right here at the house. Hello, I can't hear you. Hello, are you there? Yeah, can you hear me? You're breaking up. Hello. Are you there? Can you hear me? Somebody out there has to have come up with a solution. So I went online and I found this company. It's called Cell Antenna. They're offering a repeater package. It says for a small office or a home. It covers up to 2,500 square feet for all cellular carriers, easy to install, and wireless indoor coverage. I'm going to give it a try. Well, my cell phone antenna system has arrived. It consists of an outdoor antenna, some cabling, an amplifier, and an indoor antenna. Now, I'm going to start by mounting the outdoor antenna right up there on the gable end of my garage. Now, this is the way I like to get my things up on the roof, by hoisting them. First comes my roof caddy, then a bucket filled with tools and materials. Once everything is securely in place, I can go to work. Step 1 is to attach the antenna mounting brackets. Lag screws driven through the shingles and into the sheathing should do the trick. Next, I mount the antenna to the antenna mast, a 5-foot piece of aluminum tubing. I pass the cable up through the mast and out the top, where I can attach it to the connector on the antenna. This is coaxial cable, pretty much like that used for cable TV. Then I drop the end of the mast through the bracket clamps and tighten the bolts. Next, I drill a 3/4 inch hole. Push the cable through. Then go inside and pull in all the slack. To keep things neat, I drill a series of holes through the studs and thread the cable along the wall so that I can drop it into the garage below. Okay, now this is the cable that's coming in from the outdoor antenna. What I want to do next is install this amplifier. Now this boosts that weak signal so that I can distribute it throughout the house. I've already put the mounting bracket on here. This just slips on top and locks into place. On the input side of the amplifier, I attach the cable that's coming from the antenna. To the output jack, I connect a second cable that will carry the now stronger cell signal to other parts of the house. Now, just so we don't all get confused, let me recap. We have an exterior or outdoor antenna which is capturing the weak cell phone signal, an amplifier which is boosting it up, and now this indoor antenna which will take that stronger signal and broadcast it inside the house and then receive signals back from the cell phone. There's a connection on the back of that, so I'll attach this cable to that and then mount it to this bracket that I made up here. Finally, I attach a power cord to the amplifier and plug it into a nearby outlet. The power light says we're ready to go. I pick up a tube of exterior caulking from my truck so that I can make a weather-tight seal around the cable where it passes through the outside wall. Well, now it's time for some fine-tuning. I stay up on the roof armed with a walkie-talkie while our friend Heather relaxes in our living room with my cell phone. I rotate the antenna and she lets me know if the signal is getting stronger or weaker. All right, I'm going to rotate it about 90 degrees now.
Okay.
Is that better?
That's about the same there.
Okay, I'm going to move it a little bit more. How's that?
That's better right there. That's better.
Is that the best?
Yeah, that's the best we have.
Okay, great, thanks. Listen, I'm in conference right now. Could I call you? Well, my cell phone life has really changed. No longer do I have to go to extremes to get a good signal. In fact, reception is extremely good just about everywhere. As you can probably tell, I've got about every kind of clamp there is here in the shop. But when it comes to clamping round objects like the handle on this antique doll stroller or the shattered pedestal on this table base, well, conventional clamps aren't always the best solution. As a matter of fact, the best clamping solution might be found not in a woodworking shop, but in a bicycle shop. That's right, a bike shop. A bicycle inner tube can be the perfect clamping tool for some kinds of jobs. Let me show you how. To turn a bicycle tube into a clamp, I first cut away the valve. Then cut the tube in half lengthwise. I end up with two long, narrow strips of very stretchable rubber. Now here's how I'll use these giant rubber bands to clamp the table base. I always like to put my work in the most comfortable and convenient position, in this case, upside down and slipped over a wooden pin in my workbench. Next, I pour a little glue in a disposable container. This is the cut-off bottom from an empty water bottle, and brush it on the broken parts. Once the pieces are in place, I gently wrap a piece of painter's masking tape around them to keep things from slipping. Then I begin wrapping the rubber strap. Now what's important here is to stretch the rubber band out as I wrap so that I'm putting pressure on that joint. And with each wrap, I'm putting more and more pressure, just like a conventional clamp would do. A small spring clamp will hold the strap in place while the glue dries. Now, one of the disadvantages of using the bicycle inner tube is that the tube completely covers the joint sometimes, which means you can't see the glue that's squeezing out. So what I do is put some paste wax on the finished surfaces like this, so that if glue does squeeze out, I can easily remove it later on. It won't stick to the wax. On the antique baby stroller, the process is virtually the same. I apply glue to the broken surfaces, position the pieces together, and wrap them with a rubber strap. Again, stretching the band a bit as I make each rotation, then securing the end with a spring clamp. The glue has dried on the table base, so I unwrap the inner tube clamp and the masking tape.
Well, there's a little bit of the crack still visible. It's tight. That's mostly a finish problem, and I think I can take care of that with a touch-up marker.
I dab on the marker, let it set for a few seconds, then wipe off the excess. The repair is nearly invisible.
So, when is a clamp not a clamp? When it's a bicycle tube. And if you ask the bike shop for a flat, this is a clamp that'll be absolutely free.
Okay, I'll see you soon. Well, now my cell phone works as good at home as it does out here on the road. I'm headed off to Santa Fe, New Mexico. Cindy Carabajal wants to add some details to her living room. And I have a few ideas I think she's going to like.
Her family spends most of their time in the living room, often around this antique piano Cindy has owned since childhood. She's asked me to help dress up this room a bit, and the lure of Santa Fe, combined with a chance to play that piano, was more than I could resist.
Well, you know, from the outside, this is a pretty typical Southwestern home. In here, there's a few touches of traditional.
Yes.
You want to sort of expand on that?
Yes, I do. That's what I like.
And you were thinking about some detailing up on the
Yes.
top of the walls here?
Yes, I was thinking that it would look really nice with some crown molding.
Yeah. We might pick up on this and add some crown moldings
Yeah.
around the ceiling up here, and maybe even something on top of the fan here, maybe a rosette, something like that, just to
would be nice.
bring out a few more traditional details. Now, this is a pretty typical piece of crown molding, and it could go right up in the corner just like this. But the ceilings in this room are pretty high, and I want something a little bit more substantial.
So we're going to attach flat baseboard to both the wall and the ceiling. Then install the crown molding in between the two. This mock-up I've made shows how much more substantial the molding will be. We'll want to attach the molding to studs and ceiling joists wherever we can. So Cindy and I use electronic stud finders to locate and mark each stud and joist. With that done, we move out to the garage to give Cindy her first experience using a sliding compound miter saw. Our first cuts are for the baseboards that will be applied to the ceiling. The ends of these boards are cut at 45-degree angles in order to be cleanly in the corners of the room. With the blade rotated to 45 degrees, Cindy makes the miter cuts for each corner.
Now, every place that we located a wall stud, we have put a piece of masking tape. And every place we've located a ceiling joist, we've also put a piece of tape. You can see them all the way down along the ceiling here. Now, the first piece of molding that we're going to put up, though, we're going to put on this ceiling over here. And because the joists run in this direction, all we've got is the edge of one joist right here to nail to. So we're going to have to rely on some construction adhesive to hold this first piece up. All the way up, press it into the wall, push it into the wall, and then up onto the ceiling, like this. Good.
Next, I use an air nailer to drive nails into the edge of the joist.
Okay. Now out here, where we've only got the construction adhesive, I'm going to put in two nails at opposing angles, one like this and one like this. And that's going to give me a mechanical hold. Not really strong, but strong enough until the glue dries.
With the baseboard attached to the ceiling, Cindy lines up the miter cut on the second piece,
miters right
and I
together
secure it by driving two nails into each joist. While miter cuts are used for each corner, we need a different type of joint where two sections of baseboard meet in the middle of the ceiling or wall. Rather than joining them end to end to form a butt joint, we're going to put 45-degree bevels on each end, forming what is known as a scarf joint. That will effectively hide the seam. Unlike the miter cut, where the saw blade was rotated to a 45-degree angle, the scarf joint requires the blade to be tilted to 45 degrees. After they're cut, the two beveled ends simply slip into place. Nails can be driven through both boards, locking them together. Cindy and I work our way around the living room, attaching the baseboards to the ceiling and walls. Our next step is to do some prep work for the crown molding.
Now, Cindy, these are glue blocks. This is going to give us a surface to which we can attach our crown molding. I'm putting some construction adhesive on here. All right, now if
Okay.
you'll set that right up in the corner.
Okay.
Right on where the stud is, and push it in.
We attach each glue block with a dollop of construction adhesive, followed by a couple of nails. This glue block will not only support the crown molding, but also give us an additional nailing surface. Then it's back out to the garage for more cutting. Because the crown molding is installed on an angle, we have to make what is known as a compound miter cut for it to fit into the corners. For this, I've installed a bracket on the saw called a crown stop. It holds the crown molding at one angle, while the saw cuts it at another angle.
So this is our compound miter here. We've got one angle going this way, and then a second angle going over this way.
I see that.
And this is what's going to allow this to fit into the corners. Okay, this is the crowning glory, as I like to put it.
We attach the crown molding by driving nails into each glue block and along the top and bottom edge where it meets the baseboards. After it's all up, we run a bead of caulk over the joints and cover the nail holes with spackle. Then Cindy gets to work painting.
Now, while Cindy's finishing up the painting, I want to take this opportunity to bring some of that detail we put up here in the corner over to the center of the room by installing a ceiling medallion right above this fan. And while I'm at it, I'm going to change this fan to something that's a little bit more in keeping with the new look in this room. Now, we've turned off the power at the circuit breaker, so my first step is going to be to come up here and take down this trim ring.
Removing the fan takes a matter of minutes, and then it's time for Cindy to make a decision.
Now, these are some of the ceiling medallions I picked up. Generally speaking, the higher the ceiling, the larger the room, the larger the object that you're going to hang underneath, the larger the medallion. But truthfully, any of these would probably work in this room. So, you have a preference here?
Well, I think I like this big one in the middle.
Okay, then that's the one we'll use.
Great.
While Cindy returns to painting, I drill 4 pilot holes through the medallion, which is made of lightweight molded plastic. Then apply construction adhesive to the back, press the medallion to the ceiling, and secure it with screws. Installing the new fan is no more difficult than removing the old one.
So, what do you think?
It's gorgeous.
You got a whole new look here, or maybe is it a whole old look?
Oh, it's perfect. And this ceiling fan and medallion, it's like the jewel of the room.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
You know, before we move the rest of the furniture back here, there's something I've been dying to do since I walked into this room.
Okay, anything.
Could I play that 142-year-old piano?
Be my guest.
Well, like the song I'm playing, I like to think I throw my heart and soul into my work. I suppose, though, it's probably best that I keep my day job. And after seeing how happy Cindy is here at the end of this day, it's a job worth keeping.
Winston Churchill said, "We shape our dwellings, and afterwards our dwellings shape us." Now that's a really interesting thought, isn't it? We improve our homes, and they turn right around and improve us. So I guess you could say an investment in home improvement is ultimately an investment in self-improvement. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
To view today's projects again, visit ronhazelton.com, where you'll find hundreds of how-to videos available 24/7.